Welcome to my music theory and reading music course. You can read every lesson in this series at your ease at pianotheoryexercises.com, where you will also find interactive exercises to practice what you've learned. Below this video you will find links to those lessons and exercises on the website. Also below this video you will find a link where you can download this whole music theory course as a free ebook, so don't miss this opportunity. And if my lessons helped you, please don't forget to like and subscribe. Thanks a lot! This is lesson 19 in the music theory series, and this is the last lesson of the series. This lesson is about sharp and flat notes and about key signature. In former lessons you learned how to put notes on a staff with a treble clef and on a staff with a bass clef. But those were only notes that correspond with white keys on the piano. How do you write down notes that are on black keys on the piano? Well, that's exactly what this lesson is about. Look at this note. This is, as you know, an F. When I want to write down an F sharp, the only thing I have to do is put a sharp sign before the note. And now it's an F sharp. It's as simple as that. So this is, for example, a D sharp, and this is a C sharp, etc. With flat notes we proceed in a similar way. You just put a flat sign before the note. So this is a G flat, this is an E flat, and this is a D flat, and so on. Now once you put a sharp or a flat sign before a note, this remains valid till the end of the measure you're in. So from the moment you display a sharp or a flat sign, that note will be augmented by a half tone, or in case of the flat sign, reduced by a half tone till the end of the measure. Look at the next example. The notes in the first measure are F sharp, G, A, F sharp. But in the next measure, the sharp sign is not valid anymore. So in the next measure, the notes are normally F, G, A, F. But imagine that in the first measure, you wanted to have the notes F sharp, G, A, F, instead of F sharp, G, A, F sharp. So what do? Well, for that purpose, we have the natural sign. And the natural sign cancels the sharp sign before the first note. Now, of course, the same rules apply to flat notes. So a flat sign is only valid within the measure where it is used. And when you want to cancel a flat sign within the same measure, you use the natural sign. Exactly the same natural sign as with sharp notes. Now imagine the following. We have a piece in the key of F major. I have displayed the first line here. By the way, I used this melody also in my former lesson, but then this piece was in the key of C major. I just transposed it in F major in this lesson. So it's an F major now. You know that in the F major scale there's one flat note, that's the B flat, which you see also appear in this melody. When I add the next line of this song, you see that there are more B flats that appear, which is normal since the piece is in F major. Now when I would display also the rest of the song, you would see that there are a lot of B flats that appear. And again, that's normal since the piece is in F major, and B flat is in the F major scale. Now with all those flat signs before all the B's in a piece in F major, wouldn't it be easier to just mention in the beginning of the staff that all the B's have to be read as B flats? Well, that's exactly what we do. We put the flat sign between the clef and the time signature exactly on the place of the B. This means that all the B's in the whole song have to be played as a B flat instead of a B. So now we can simply display the first two lines of the song as follows. You see that there are no flat signs anymore in the staff. The only flat sign is the one between the clef and the time signature. So in the case of F major, we put this flat sign on this third line of the staff between the clef and the time signature. What if a piece would, for example, be in G major? Now, as you know, G major has one sharp note, that's the F sharp. Well, I can also put that sharp sign between the clef and the time signature, so that's here on the highest line of the staff. And this means that all the F's in the whole piece have to be played as an F sharp. Now we call this sharp sign between the clef and the time signature the key signature. And in the case of the piece in F major, this was of course the flat sign on the third line, which is the key signature. So as for example the key signature for a piece in A major, and as you know A major has 3 sharp notes, is as follows. You see the C sharp, the F sharp and the G sharp, exactly the 3 sharp notes in the A major scale. Or for example the key signature for a piece in B flat major, Well, you see the flat sign between the clef and the time signature at the B flat and E flat, the two flats in the B flat major scale, and so on. Now, when I see a key signature in a piece, do I automatically know in which key that piece is? No. Why not? Well, let me give you an example. Let me go back to a piece in F major. You see one flat note. Is F major the only scale that has one flat note on the B flat? No. Remember that the F major scale has also its relative minor scale, which is D minor, and D minor has also one flat note, exactly the same flat note, of course, B flat. So when you see this key signature, the piece can either be in F major or in its relative minor, so D minor. Now, to have a great overview and to see all the key signatures, it's good to display them in the circle of fifths. And here they are. You see all the major scales and their relative minor scales with their key signatures. If you want to practice your reading music skills, then we have interactive exercises on pianotheoryexercises.com. You can find a link below this video that takes you to the article on the same subject as this video, and when you scroll down at the bottom of the article you will find links to interactive exercises to practice your skills. Those skills will not only be about key signature and sharp and flat notes, but about all the music reading skills.